What is up guys, this is AlintheaYoh coming to a discussion video today about the new pendulum monsters for Aesatellarknights and the three kind of new cards they can use, and do they actually have a place in the Aesatellarknight deck? Now I play a lot of Aesatellarknights, it's kind of one of my main meta decks right now just because I like the way they run. I'm always a big fan and always have been of kind of rank 4 toolbox decks just because it's a lot of fun and a lot of my favourite XYZ monsters are rank 4s. So I think they're the best supported type of rank in the whole game. And that's why I kind of picked them up, because they're a lot of fun as well for me to play. Aesatellarknights have kind of everything really. They have a ridiculous boss monster that can bounce everything. They have one that can allow you to not kind of get negated when it's summoned and your other ones to get summoned. Can also pop a card. Then you've got something that searches, something brings from grave, something that foolishes, something that specials. And then obviously something that can negate anything, and it's a counter trap. So already the deck is pretty covered in the areas that it has. You might say that it's not as good as some other decks out there, i.e. Burning Abyss, Quillforth and Necloths, but it's still a pretty strong deck. And now with these new cards that are coming out, the Zephyrs, it begs the question, do they actually add anything useful to the deck? Or are they just kind of one of these side things that are a little bit interesting? So the two monsters are Zephyr Buff and Zethruban, I think, something like that. There's a 1/9 and a 2/1 defender. The 1/9 I think can pop a set back row your opponent has, and the other one can pop a face-up card on the field when they're summoned. When either a pendulum is activated, a Zephyr pendulum, or a Satellar monster, or a Zephyr, either way, something like that. And then they've got the counter trap, which is basically the exact same as Nova, except you banish a Zephyr monster on top of your extra deck. Now, a lot of people have been saying, oh my god, Aesatellarknights can now play 6 Novas. Well, it's sending a little bit of a riff around the community. People who talk about, there was a guy on MCall40's channel who spoke about it, I think, and then there was Drew who also spoke about it. It's interesting because as a Aesatellarknight player, I wouldn't play Divine Wind. I wouldn't play Divine Attack, whatever the card's called, because I feel that to add something that the deck already has, I need to put other cards in that don't necessarily add anything really strong to the function of the deck. Popping a back row, not bad, and it's a 1/9 beta. Popping a monster that's face up, yeah, that's great, but at the end of the day, they're pendulums, and I feel that the deck doesn't need them. Obviously, if you really wanted, you could play 1 or 2 of each maybe, and then 2 or 3 even, Divine Wind, whatever that card is, the counter trap, but I think it's just going to lead to a lot of brick hands. If you look at it first turn, there's a nice way that you have a Nova and a monster, you can use it first turn. If we look at the new counter trap, you would have to destroy it or have your opponent destroy it to make this counter trap live. This leads to some pretty horrible dead draws because it just means you have to fulfill something that's not that easy to do, in all fairness. I know you might say, well, putting to the extra deck is not that difficult, but it actually is when you compare it to the conditions that you have to fulfill with Nova. Nova is just a monster on the field, and you run Call the Haunted, you run Oasis, you run Altair, you run Vega, you run Rota, you run all these different things to search out some of these cards that you can use for Alpha. And whereas you can use all of these same things to search out these pendulums, on top of having that monster, it needs to be in the extra deck. So that's another form of requirement that you have to have for these cards to be live. I foresee some people putting 1 in maybe, if they want to tech in the new pendulums, but I think it's actually a bit of a waste for now because Aesatellarknights don't need pendulums. The amount of advantage that you can keep up just using the cards that you already have available to you, as well as the Nova, is a lot. And I don't feel that these pendulums and this new counter trap actually bring anything new to the deck. They don't bring anything strong enough to actually make me want to run them. Now, this is just my personal opinion on the cards after reading over them, having to think about them, and kind of playing around a little bit to see how it would work in the deck. But to be honest, I like how the deck runs now, and I would rather look at non-archetype support than this because I feel they're just a little bit lackluster for the actual deck and not what it actually needs. So let me know down in the comment section below what you think of these cards. If you are a Aesatellarknight player, will you be using these cards at all? Or do you have the same opinion that I do, that it's just not that great? So as I said, let me know down in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I should catch you guys later.